G'day everyone and welcome back to another Rocket League video and tutorial. So today I'm going to be going through something that I haven't really covered in depth on the channel, and it's something that when done right can improve your gameplay significantly, and when done wrong can damage it severely. So I thought it's better to cover it sooner rather than later. It's not a new set of mechanics or skills, but it's something that I get asked for all the time on stream, and something that everyone is always searching for the right answer for. If you haven't already guessed it, it's camera settings. Having the right camera settings for yourself is as important, if not more important, than any other setting in the game. Perfecting the balance isn't a one-step process, but a multi-step one involving a lot of trial and error to get what's right for you. Obviously, it's going to differ between individuals, so I've done some research and established what the best camera settings are as used by the pro players to serve as a guide for you to find what suits best. Anyway, I've done enough talking, so I welcome you all to the best camera settings in Rocket League. Before the video starts, be sure to follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. The links to both are in the description, and it's a great way to follow the channel closer and interact with both myself and other followers. Also be sure to like and subscribe if you're new and enjoy my other content, as well as turning on notifications to be notified when I upload. So, if you ever go looking through your replays for whatever reason and end up looking at another player in your game's perspective and see their camera settings, usually one of three things will happen. Number 1. You go, nice, this guy's camera settings are pretty similar to mine. Great minds think alike. You could go 2. Oh wow, I really like these settings, they're much better than mine. I might use them and see how they go. Or the third case will happen. Oh my god, what in the flying f*** are these camera settings? I feel like I'm playing looking through binoculars whilst an earthquake is going off. So, hopefully when other people look at your settings, they say either the first or second phrases. If anyone says a third, then you're in trouble and you really should watch this video. Nevertheless, for any of these, you can still find little tips and ideas to try out, and who knows, they might become permanent. When I was researching, I found a site called prosettings.net, which calculated the average value for each camera setting in Rocket League of all the pros. The link is in the description below. So, using this, my own settings, and talking to friends and other players, I've established a baseline. Starting with field of view. Now, the average is 108 for the pros, however around 70% of them use 110, which is the maximum. So for this one, I would go with the majority. The reason being is that a wider field of view means you can see more of the field, and if you can see more of the field, you have a better understanding of what's going on around you, and you will benefit from it. This one really is a no-brainer. Moving on to camera distance. Now this one ranges from 260 to 280, as over 60% of pros lie in this range, as well as myself and many others. Again, the logic behind it is that it is close enough that you can have fine control over your car, but also be able to have a view of your surroundings. Now we have height. This is really between two values, 100 and 110. I've used both, although I'm currently on 100, and can say there really isn't too much difference between them. 75% of pros use one of these two, so try it out and find which one suits you best. Moving down the list, we come across angle, which has slightly more variety and comes down to personal preference. 85% of pros use either -3, -4 or -5. I wouldn't recommend going outside these as it's just plain awkward, and these values, like the others, give you the best visibility. Now we have the last of the important camera settings, camera stiffness. Unlike the others, this is almost purely down to personal preference, and you'll find pros using almost every single one of them. The most common is 0.4, but this is only 17%, with 0.45 and 0.35 being 15% and 14% respectively. So, as a guide, somewhere around 0.4, but more than anything, use this as a baseline and then experiment to find the best fit. Now, the last two are swivel speed and transition speed. These don't really affect too much, but I have my swivel speed around 3 and my transition speed just above 1. Like I said, just try some out and you'll see it's not really a huge decision. So, overall, here is what are the best settings. Your field of view should be 110, your distance should be between 260 and 280, your height should be 100 or 110, angle between -3 and -5, use 0.4 as a baseline for your stiffness, but whatever you like most is the most important. Your transition speed should be 1 to 1.5 and your swivel speed anywhere from 2 to 5. Having done the camera settings, I will move on to dead zone and sensitivity settings, which surprisingly are also just as important as the camera, so please do not underestimate them. Your steering sensitivity should be pretty low. There aren't any stats for this, but looking at a lot of pro settings, most have it between 1.1 and 1.5. There really isn't too much to read into here. Additionally, your aerial sensitivity is something that varies. Most pros have it between 1.2 and 1.6, however if you're a slightly more mechanical player, someone like Astral who wants very fine control over his car, bump this up to 3 to 5. But for the vast majority of players, stay within the 1.2 to 1.6 range. Your controller dead zone should be pretty low, at least 0.1 or lower. Most pros have it on 0.05, which is the lowest setting, so see what you like the most. And finally, the dodge dead zone. You generally want this to be quite high, as having it low will mean you always backflip when trying a fast aerial, as it only takes a slight movement to initiate the dodge. Anywhere from 0.6 to 0.75 should be good enough to be able to avoid backflipping whilst also being able to dodge without slamming your stick to the side. Other than that, just a few last pointers and settings to adjust if you haven't already. You want to turn vibration off, as there is really no reason to have it on, as it's just really plain annoying. Also, please don't be that guy who still has camera shake on. If you do, you need to turn this off immediately. It means that essentially your screen will shake every time your car has any time of force applied to it. So do me and everyone else a favour and turn it off permanently. Alright, so that wraps it up for the best camera settings in Rocket League. As always, I hope you learned something new and gained a few tips to improve your gameplay, and be sure to like and subscribe with notifications on to be alerted for any future uploads and streams. Lastly, I hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching. Cheers.